Hello everyone, my name is the Southern Gamer and you're watching this video. This is my little introduction. Throughout the course of this channel, I will be teaching you how to do the fundamentals, so I'll start you off with the basics of earthbending, how to do the simple attacks like rock fist, shooting your rock fist, how to lift up your boulder, punch it, and your wall. As well as your mobility, which is this. Is your earth pillars. Sorry, I went off a bit too high up there. So basically what I'll do is, as I'm doing this, alongside this video, I will do my best to edit it. I'm not the greatest. I will edit in the pictures of the buttons that you need to press. Now, for those who are a little bit smarter, or are a bit more comfortable with the VR headset, some people might be new, some people have had it for a long time like I have. To do your basic rock fist, if you're a brand new earthbender, all you have to do is keep your hand above the ground and hold down the trigger. This is your melee attack. It does 15 attack damage, and you can punch people with it. As soon as you punch someone with it, it'll disappear. Now, to shoot it, I will demonstrate on what it does with our lovely assistant, the pillar. When you shoot it, you press the top button on your controller, whichever hand is dominant or whichever hand you prefer playing with. You can change it up in the lobby. All you have to do is press B or Y and it will shoot. Now, in order to do your simple jump, the button for transportation is the exact same in all types of bending, whether you start off with earth and then go to air, water or fire. The button to move around is the exact same for each and every one. All you have to do for earth, to do your pillar, is point your hand down at the ground and you've got to press nothing but the button B or Y, depending on which hand you prefer to play on. So if you're a right-handed, like myself, you point your hand down at the ground and you press B. If you're a left-handed, you point your hand down at the ground and you press Y, depending on where your bracelet will be. All you have to do is press down B, hold it down and swing your hand up. Now, mine are a bit higher, some people's aren't. That'll come into a later video. Remember, this is just the introduction on how to do your basic fundamentals. Now, as I'll lower you down, as I'm running out of time, I'll point you up in that direction. To do your boulder, all you have to do is hold your trigger down at the ground with your hand down like that. To do the boulder, you just lift up like that, and it's simple. And then you punch it before it despawns. Now, I ran out of time in the first clip, so if I'm not that good at editing and there's a bit of a gap, you know why. As I repeat, just in case I didn't capture all of it or my audio got cut, you point your hand down at the ground, you hold your trigger, and you'll see this little circle. Now, this is your greatest power, but it can also be your greatest weakness. Now, if you just lift up one hand, you'll get a boulder. I'm using the basic skin just to not confuse any new players. Now, a lot of newer players I've seen tend to lift up the boulder, do that to try and punch it. Everything you lift up from the ground must be physically hit. So, you just lift it up. I will swap the camera into a direction where you can see it properly. You lift up, I'll point it there, you lift it up, and then you punch it. It'll go in that direction. Now remember, it is just as simple as doing this and then lifting up. And then you've got to punch it. Now the wall is a bit different. It's the same mechanic really. You point your hand down at the ground, wait for your little circle to appear, but you lift up both hands. Now I've blocked the camera with the wall because they are massive. And it's the same thing, all you have to do, both hands, and again, you just punch it. Now, that goes quite far. If you do a weak punch, it won't go as far as you can see. Now, earth is a very stubborn element. So when you want to punch a wall, you lift it up just like that, and you punch it hard. The harder you hit it, the faster it'll go, and the further it'll go. It doesn't do anything to control the damage. Walls do 25 attack damage, that is about a quarter of your player's health. Now, some players don't know how to check your health. If you look at my bracelet and see the color, it is bright green. That means I am at full health. Now, your health bar will go into various stages, so always make sure that you can see it's on green. Once it gets starting to low, it goes through the various stages. It goes from neon green to like a dull grey to like a dull green, and then it will go into an amber, then a yellow, then an orange, then red. Now, very important, some players like myself and other white belts like me, have a phrase where if you are red, you are dead. So if we spot you with a red health bar or a red bracelet, do not be surprised if we lift up a wall and punch it into your direction. Now, I try and be as controlled as I can. Unfortunately, we're in the time of the 4th era. If you don't know what that is, the 4th era is the brand new season of Element Battling Sandbox. Now, it's a big competition who can race to the top of the leaderboards. I will show you the leaderboards in another time. A lot of people nowadays, they're just trying to grind up the KOs. We don't use the word kill here. They're knockouts because you don't die. You respawn and you'll get sent back into the lobby, which is that building over there. Now, there are various spawn points. So for Earthbenders, you will spawn in here, right beneath our lovely insignia. If you need to reset your power for whatever reason, you picked the wrong one, or you picked up a double and you didn't mean to, all you have to do is press that red button there and you'll be sent back to the spawn point. Now, the various other spawn locations are that air temple up there. Over here we have the fire temple, which is what I like to call it. Again, on every bit of spawn there is a red button. Now, it's very important for Earthbenders that this ground here is wooden. Now, we can't bend this. As you can see, no tiny circle. I can't do that or that. The most I can do is this. I can punch someone or I can shoot it at them. The same goes for the water. Now, there is an exception to the water, and that is this little area that I'm in now. This is mud, a combination of water and earth. I can bend it, and so can any water bender, as you'll see. I can bend it. However, if I go into the light blue water, which you'll see here, we cannot bend this. As you can see, I can't lift up a wall or a boulder. All I can do again is punch or shoot them. Now, it is very important, if you do decide to leave earth bending and you pick water bending, remember the button is the exact same for every bending. You do not want to go into this water here. This water is a dead zone. If you go in there, you will be knocked out. Now, I will show you the fundamentals again, just so you can get a grasp of it, and I'll go through all the buttons you need to do. So if I point you up and around about that direction, so you can still see me as I'm going up in the sky, whichever hand you have your bracelet on, whether that's your right like me or your left-handed, you grab your bracelet, you point your hand down at the ground, you press the top button B, again I'll show a diagram somewhere on the screen, and you just swing up. Alright, you just swing up, and that is how you do your earth pillar. Remember, B is your lifesaver in any type of bending, as it is your transportation. Now, I'll point you up in this direction to show you a bit better on the angles. Now, to do your rock fist, you point your hand up. Just keep it away from any type of earth, otherwise you'll be doing this when you're trying to punch someone, and you don't want to do that if you're in a melee fight. Keep your hand off the ground, hold down the trigger, and you'll get this cluster. Now, again, it does 15 attack damage. It's quite a powerful attack. And then to shoot it, all you have to do is press B, and it'll shoot from your wrist. It goes quite a distance, but they do despawn, so they're not the best ranged attack. Now, to do your boulder, it's the exact same. You point your hand down at the ground this time, you hold down the trigger, and you should get this little circle. You lift up one hand, it'll lift up, and you punch it. You have to actually punch it. And now to do the wall, it's the exact same motions as the boulder, but you're lifting up your other hand. You lift up, and you punch it. The harder you hit it, the further it will go, and the less time your enemy will have an attack. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.